That was weird. I didn't continue. Wait, what? No. And I'm like, read more than one. Oh, hair in my mouth. Should have figured this out beforehand. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I've DNF'd or did not finish as of March 2022. So I'm going to break these up into 3 different categories. The first category is books where I've read more than one in the series. The second category is books where I've only read the first book in the series. And the third and final category is books that I just couldn't get through for one reason or another. Alright, I have quite a bit of books to talk about, so let's get into it. So the first book we have here is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. So I read up to Pretty, which was the second book in the series. This was actually my very first DNF. I really enjoyed the first book, but I absolutely hated what happened in the second book. It made me so mad, and I refused to read further. And that's really all I want to say about that. Next up, we have The Spiderwick Chronicles by Holly Black and Tony DiTerlizzi. I probably butchered that. I am so sorry. Again, I read the first 2 books. At the time, I still wasn't a big reader, so I just didn't continue on with the series, and it just wasn't my vibe, I guess. The third series we have is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. So for that one, I read up to King's Cage, and I couldn't continue further. Did not like the relationships, they killed off my favorite character, and I seriously didn't like anybody else. So at that point, I was just done. And then the last book we have in this category is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. I thought this book had a really cool premise that Dorothy was now evil and that the witches had to come and defeat her, but I read the first 2 books and nothing happened. It was not what I was looking for at all. I was just bored. You gotta give me something. It's a 4-book series and nothing happens within the first 2 books. That's just insane. No, I did not like that one. So now we're starting our second category. The first book, ironically, is also by Scott Westerfeld, and that is Leviathan. So maybe it's just the author and me, we don't click. I felt like the first book just ended in a weird place. I liked it, I just didn't love it as much as I was expecting to. I didn't feel the need to continue on, so that's why I DNF'd this book. Next up we have Defy by Sarah B. Larson. This was supposed to be like a Mulan / 12th Night sort of retelling. I mean, it wasn't, but it was. But everyone knew that she was a girl. She was like surprised that they could figure this out. And the prince was exactly like Dorian from the Throne of Glass. And I'm pretty darn sure they were Dorian and Darian, or something very, very similar anyways. Characters reminded me so much of each other, I could barely tell them apart. I may have been reading them at the same time. I don't fully remember if that was the case. And honestly, I liked Dorian in Throne of Glass way better. I think it was just the better character dynamic between the main characters, but I really have no idea. But yeah, it just wasn't a favorite for me, and I didn't continue on reading that series. Next up, we have Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. This book was supposed to be about a magical school where this girl's a witch and her roommate is a vampire. At first I really liked it, and then the surprise ending I thought was just really dumb. It just wasn't very good in my opinion. Next up we have Spelled by Betsy Xiao. This was another Wizard of Oz inspired story, but it just wasn't very memorable for me, and I didn't see the need to carry on. That's why I didn't read any more in this series. And then the last book in this category, we have Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. I did enjoy this story. I thought it was fine. I just think it was definitely geared for a younger audience. And we're on to our third and final category. Bear with me because this is the longest one, but hopefully I can get through these pretty quick. All right, here we go. First up, we have The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I did read The Infernal Devices, but I really just couldn't get into this one. I tried multiple times, and it's just not happening. And I really have no intentions of picking it up again. Then we have The Cursed Child. This didn't need to exist. There was absolutely no reason for this. The characters did not feel like themselves whatsoever, and we deserved so much more. This was a big no for me. Did not like it whatsoever. Could not get through it. Next up is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I could not handle witnessing the murders, especially when they involved women, children, and dogs. Nope, no, no. Absolutely not. I'm the biggest scaredy cat there is, and that's just no. Next we have Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. The writing style, I just could not get behind. I don't know what it is, but I just wanted to edit the book myself because I was not having it, and I just couldn't get through it. And then we have Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. These characters were supposed to be graduated from high school. They felt like they were 12 years old, and that's if I'm being generous. Maybe closer to 10 years old. It was ridiculous. Then we have Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. To be honest, I picked this book up because of its beautiful cover, but I realized that although it's the first book in a series, you really should read the previous series to understand what's going on. I had no interest in doing that, so that's why I ended up DNFing this series, and I just didn't get through that book. Next we have Reboot by Amy Chintera. At least that's how I think you say her name. I honestly can't remember this one. The only thing I really remember is that it just didn't work for me, so I didn't get through it. So next we have The Dead Queens Club by Hannah Capit. The characters were just unlikable for me. It wasn't really what I was expecting or wanting to get into, so I just stopped reading. Then we have My Dear Hamilton, a novel of Eliza Schuyler Hamilton by Stephanie Dre and Lara Kamoe. I absolutely love Hamilton the musical. I was really hoping to get into this and see everything from Eliza's perspective. It's just a thing with me in historical fiction because I really want to read them and then I just can't get behind things. In this book, it was how the women were treated. It just really irked me. I just had to put it down and stop reading. And then with the next book, Mr. Churchill's Secretary by Susan Elliott McNeill, it was just the same thing with this. How the women were treated was just so stupid and infuriating. It just made me mad, and I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So I stopped reading it. Then we have Frankly in Love. I was really looking forward to this book, but Frank was just not the character for me, and I just had to put it down. Sad I didn't like this one, but if you liked it, I'm happy for you. And then we have One Day in December by Josie Silver. I didn't like what was happening, I didn't like where it was going, and I didn't need to read anymore. Next we have Homegoing by Ya Jossi. There was a rape scene, and at that point I was just done, and I didn't feel the need to read anymore. Next we have Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Riviera. I really wanted to like this book, but for some reason I just couldn't get into it. So I think it was just a timing thing with me, but I am hoping to get into this, but I'm actually going to be reading the graphic novel edition and trying that one out instead. Next we have The Loose Ends List by Carrie Firestone. I was expecting this to be a tear-jerking but inspirational read, and instead this book was just sad, depressing, and definitely not what I needed at the time. So that was a big DNF for me. And lastly, we have The Summer of Everything by Julian Winters. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you because I really thought I was going to like this book, and for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. So I stopped reading and ultimately DNF'd the book. So those are all the books that I've DNF'd, so let me know some books that you've DNF'd down in the comments. And let me know if you agree or disagree with me about these books. So let me know down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share the love. I'll see you next time. Bye.